It's my pleasure to introduce our next panel, which is poetry panel. What these two have in common, besides being excellent poets, is they, if I'm not mistaken, both undergraduates from Texas Tech University, visiting us now from afar. So first here in the green is Clara Bush-Vadala. She is a Texas Tech Honors College alum and a current veterinary student at Texas A&M, about to start her fourth and final clinical year. It's been a long journey. She majored in environmental studies and humanities at Tech and has presented at the Sow Collection Conference, has had a profound impact on her writing. She has recently published her first book of poetry called Prairie Smoke, Poems from the Grasslands, and we'll read some poems from it and some from her new collection in progress about veterinary surgery. And Leslie Marie Aguilar originally hails from the heartland of Texas. She has served as a poetry editor of Indiana Review and received her MFA from Indiana University. Her work has been supported by the National Society of Arts and Letters and the Fine Arts Work Center. Her poems have appeared or are forthcoming in Callaloo, Hobart, Ninth Letter, Rattle, Sonora Review, and Washington Square Review, among others. She is the author of Mesquite Manual, which was published by New Delta Review in 2015. So please welcome our two poets. Thank you.
Hi. So I kind of struggled with, it's really loud, how I thought a lot of these poems would fit with the conference this year. But as I thought more about it, I realized there's a reason I like writing about medicine. The body, to me, is just another landscape, an ecosystem. The same reasons I find organs and disease and health beautiful are the reasons I look to the outdoors as well. I can get lost there. So I'm starting with a poem about the body to kind of set the mood for that, and I hope the others I'll read will fit within that landscape. This first poem is called The Body is a Garden. Dissection is the sincerest form of flattery. Think of the way we dig up roses, transplant peppers from small pots. You know the best part? The pale roots. Smooth under your fingers, curled at the flat bottom of the cylinder of soil. You know we're going somewhere bigger, but still not space enough away from you to feed them your admiration, to plant them in our yards, dissecting landscape, cutting open earth and all its fruits to smell them, eat them, reap them, keep them closer to us than they were before. Think of the body this way. Bring it closer. Let's dissect. The heart could be a cactus, this meaty fist almost frond-shaped like a prickly pear, thirsting through its thousand straws, somehow each leaking straight to its source and back, not convoluted, never confused, sharp with precision and self-preserving unless you're careful. So many leaves are shaped like hearts. Rooted is the best way to absorb the world. Lungs are half moons filled with nothing. Their tide in your chest keeps some order even in storms. No, not moons. The shape is more like the undercurve of wings in flight or sky over soft dirt and long grass and flat land. More like horizon. More like the sun, rising and setting, filled with long rings, bronchi, alveoli like cherry blossoms of air. More like a tree, branching toward the innermost parts of you. You see, lungs need to be more than empty. Liver is earthworms, bottom feeders, mussels, clams, filters. You can lose more of the liver than you own without feeling it slowing. Liver is amphibian, regrowing lumps where all its limbs filled with bile once lived. Liver is a cane toad, thin-skinned and warded at once, oozing toxin in a crisis, living longer than a toad has a reason to. Toads and livers eat only with discretion. Only what's needed filtered, only what fits in its mouth consumed. Cane toads can eat whole mice as treats. Livers have whole bodies to keep. What is the spleen, the great sponge of mystery? The spleen would hold the line like moss in the forest. Each time it squeezes represents a need, humidity. The body is mostly water, blood, after all. This is where your last reserves live, but you can live without them too, for a while. Kidneys are flower buds yet to bloom, feeding their fuel to the bladder instead, a balloon, a translucent seed, a consistent reminder that we are always making things. A uterus, well, the warm home we all keep beneath before we're ready to dissect ourselves. Our whole atmosphere stretched like leather before us and after us, thin and used, resilient, healing, a reinvention of itself. If only we could remember the performance in that amphitheater. If only the long doming of that tissue could teach us about all the other angles we should curve around, like ivy, like moonflower, morning glory, to find the time and place where we best bloom, instead of a way out. The skin is the soil we grow out of, every tissue epithelial on the outside, every organ coated with, fertilized in, squamous, cuboidal, ciliated, cells of all cultures and specialized to all short-term positions, sloughed when they're too old for the work or need something permanent. The skin is the life and death of us, the first and the last of us. The soil we turn into or are buried under is mostly skin. The things we hold close keep some of our skin, some of ourselves, sticks to everything we touch. And each thing growing out of us when we die is a new skin we inhabit, even in death, feeding life. This next poem is about a rule in surgery, that is, we don't set our instruments on the surgery table because you don't want them on top of or falling into your patient.